Hello and welcome to Good Morning PNG, the first ever breakfast television show in Papua New Guinea. We're so excited to be here and we're so glad you could join us. Introducing my co-host Shaz. Shaz, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Taz. I'm well, thanks. And yes, this is exciting. I actually got up at like 3 this morning.
You got up too early.
Yeah, too early, but it's okay. Good morning to you as well, watching on TV and on the internet, as well as for those live streaming. Welcome to Good Morning PNG.
Absolutely. Mary Batula, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tez. Excited to be here so bright and early in the day. Yeah.
You can see it all over your face. Recent trip to Arab?
It was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so we went for a meeting related to the Joint Weapons Disposal Program. And this week we've had some big news regarding the referendum, but we'll have an update in the news. Yeah.
That's coming up. Ikea Pakop, good morning to you. How are you?
Morning, Taz. I'm fine, thanks.
World of Entertainment, big news this week for you.
Yes, I caught up with the Queen of the Pacific, so I'm excited to show that to you all.
Absolutely. And she came back from one trip. She's been overseas
She went
already?
over to Nauru and she just got back from LA, so...
Well, we got back from Boroko, so...
Richard, good morning.
Good morning, Chef.
So what can we expect in the weather or over the month? Do we know?
Jeez, I just woke up. Come on, you got to give me some time.
All right, Peter, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Geez, you were up at 2:30 this morning.
Yeah, I thought I'd just start the day off right. I'm usually up around that time anyway, so...
You were actually snacking and watching TV before.
Yeah. Two of my favorite things to do, so...
See, so we're totally excited to be here, so let's do this.
Absolutely. We have a great show coming up for you, but firstly we go to the news and here's Mary Batula.
Thanks, Tez. Now, some news updates. The Joint Supervisory Body has resolved to postpone the target date of the referendum on Bougainville to October this year. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and Autonomous Bougainville Government President Chief John Momis made this known following a meeting of both governments in Port Moresby this week. Initially, the target date had been set for June 15, 2019, but upon the recommendation of the Bougainville Referendum Commission, chaired by Ireland's former Prime Minister Betty Ahern, both governments agreed to move the target date by 3 months to October the 12th this year.
Today's formalities, and once again thank you, Minister. He has concluded that the indicated time of date of 15th of June 2019 needs to be reset so that the Commission can properly carry out its responsibilities of making sure that all the voters, both living on Bougainville and outside of Bougainville, are registered properly and the roll is updated properly to enable that process to take place.
Moving on, police officers investigating the alleged production of illegal cigarettes by a Chinese-owned company in Port Moresby have withdrawn the court case. Last Thursday, the Waigani District Court ordered that the case against Golden Bar Limited be withdrawn after police made submissions to remove the matter. This case had involved the alleged manufacturing and repacking of American cigarette brand Marlboro at a warehouse at Kennedy Estate here in Port Moresby. To the Highlands region now, Oil Search Foundation is contributing up to 3 million kina to help fund the redevelopment of the Koroba District Hospital in Hela. The announcement was made by OSF Chairman and Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten in Koroba recently. Koroba Kopiago MP Petrus Thomas says the partnership is to improve and provide better health services to communities far and near. The redevelopment hopes to provide care and treatment for birth complications, serious infections, and provide an effective treatment for other curable diseases. An X-ray and surgery machine are expected to arrive mid this month, including a pathology lab funded by the Australian Government and Oil Search Foundation. And finally, National Planning Minister Richard Maro held a bilateral meeting with the European Commissioner for International Cooperation and Development in Neven in Samoa this week. The bilateral discussions were basically to take forward critical matters needed to progress cooperation between the European Union and PNG. Key partnerships focus on violence against women, girls, children and gender inequality. Minister Maro further stated that the EU's relationship with Papua New Guinea is expected to extend into other areas in trade, education, health and other investment. Both Minister Maro and the European Commissioner welcomed the need to build a business relationship between PNG and European companies. And that's the news at 6 a.m. this morning, Taz.
Bright and early, Miriba. The one that caught my eye is the referendum You were in Arab recently, as you mentioned, 2 weeks ago. How do you think they'll take to the news that it's been deferred?
I think it'll be welcomed by a lot of people. Not much progress has been made towards the preparations of the referendum. Work by the BRC has been slow, but I think within added 3 months it'll get them time to complete
so October
everything.
12th, the new date?
Yeah, October the 12th. Yeah,
had some funding restrictions as well as some logistics.
Yeah, 30 million was budgeted for BRC this year. 10 million's been already given. They'll have another 10 million next week, or 10 million to go before October.
There we go.
All right, thanks, Miraba. And now for the sports news, it's a very good morning to Peter Pusal.
Thanks, Shaz. First in rugby league. James Seguiaro has returned to Cronulla after coming to terms in a one-year agreement with the club earlier this week. The Papua New Guinea international has played for the Sharks over the last 2 years, and after struggling to attract offers in the off-season, he has decided to commit to the Sharks. While not having a club over the last couple of months, Seguiaro started working in a cafe owned by former New Zealand international Jason Nightingale. On resigning Seguiaro, Cronulla coach John Morris said the 28-year-old had an opportunity to go to other clubs, but wanted to play with the Sharks. Seguiaro began his career at North Queensland Cowboys back in 2011 before enjoying spells at the Penrith Panthers and Leeds Rhinos. He has made over 150 career appearances. Back home, Alex Werra will lead the SP PNG Hunters in the 2019 Q Cup season with Moses Meninga, the team's vice captain. The 28-year-old, who is the Hunters' only surviving foundation member from its 2014 debut in the Queensland Cup, is the club's fourth captain, with Israel Eliab, Noel Zemming and Azir Boys the other men to have led the club. Werra and Meninga and coach Michael Marum, along with the rest of the 30-man squad, were present for the club's 2019 Q Cup campaign season launch at the Oil Search National Football Stadium last Friday night. Werra said he was surprised and humbled when coach Michael Marum asked him to lead the side in their sixth year. Werra, who has so far played 97 games and scored 52 tries for the Hunters over the course of 5 seasons with the club, said captaining the side was an honour. The Hunters opened their 2019 campaign on Sunday, March 10th against the Tweedhead Seagulls before playing their first home game of the season against the Northern Pride at the National Football Stadium following Sunday. To golf now, more than 150 golfers from around Papua New Guinea will compete in the inaugural McRoyal Hotel 3-man Ambrose tournament, which tees off today at the Minge Golf Club in Jiwaka. The 2-day tournament will see golfers from Port Moresby, Lae, Madang, Mount Hagen, Goroka and other centres play off at the 18-hole course. Tournament major sponsor and owner of McRoyal Hotel, Lexan Wantaki, said the tournament was an opportunity for golfers to compete at the picturesque Minge course, which was upgraded in 2016. And finally, overseas, Super Rugby kicked off round 3 last night with the Hurricanes taking on the Brumbies, while the Rebels met the Highlanders. In the first match, Hurricanes beat the Brumbies 43-13 with All Black centre Nani Laumape scoring a hat-trick, and fellow All Black Dane Coles, who also had a big game, scoring a try, setting up 2 and led from the front as captain. The match was played at Palmerston North. In the other match, the home team, the Melbourne Rebels, got over the Highlanders 24-19. And Shaz, those are the top stories for this morning.
Thanks, Peter. And how good is it that golf is making a debut up in Jiwaka?
Yeah, the course over there in Minge looks very good. I mean, from the aerial shots that I've seen, it looks it's picturesque. It's green. Yeah, absolutely. And the fairways look great.
I mean, it's a great push for tourism. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I was in the province a couple of weeks ago. So you drive through this valley. It's nice and cool. The weather's perfect up at Jiwaka. So well done, McRoyal Hotel.
Yeah.
Rich, it's time for the weather, Shaz.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Taz. Morning, everyone. Let's have a look at the weekend weather across the main centres. Southern, mainly fine with slight to moderate south to easterly winds throughout the region. Partly cloudy in Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma, and Popondetta. And obviously very fine and sunny in Alatau. Momase, cloudy weather with chances of light showers in Madang and Wewak. Lae and Madang will experience cloudy periods but should be generally fine. But if you want to be anywhere in the Momase region right now, it'll be Vanimo. Place is beautiful. Highlands, Mostly fine this weekend with light variable winds all throughout the main centers. Mount Hagen, Mendi, and Wabeg will be chilly at 24 degrees Celsius during the day with a comfortable 11 degrees at night. NGI, it'll be cloudy but mostly fine in Kokopo, Robau, Lorangau, and Kavieng. There are cloudy periods predicted for Kimbe, and showers forecasted in Buka with a high of 31 degrees and a low of 24 throughout the islands. The weather will be warm. And yeah, that's the weather for now. Back to you, Shads.
Thank you, Rich. This is Good Morning PNG. You're watching in Taz. What a show we have in store today.
Absolutely, Shaz. We'll be catching up with Miss Pacific Islands, Miss Leoshina Kariha. We also speak to Australian PNG musician and producer Airileke Ingram. And the big one, Shaz, we're going to the gym. That's right, the gym with the Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer Charles Abel. He's probably right there right now watching. Welcome, sir. Stay with us. We're back right after this. Oh, you gotta love that music. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning PNG. So good of you to join us this morning on our first ever show. And Shaz, keeps coming up. We mentioned before the break, we'd be talking to some big names, and that includes our very own Miss Pacific Islands, Miss Leoshina Kariha.
Yeah, that's right. And our very own Ikea Pakop, who caught up with her, joins us now. Morning, Ikea. How was it?
Morning, Shaz. Well, very surprising. She's only 19 and very mature. She's taking a gap year this year. She's currently was at Divine Word, but you can take a look at her interview.
Thank you so much for being part of the Good Morning PNG show. How does it feel being the third crowned Miss Pacific Islands from Papua New Guinea?
Well, it's really a great honor and privilege to represent the country, especially at a regional level.
And what made you try out for the pageant in the first place? What motivated you?
Well, I thought, why not? You know, I've let opportunities pass by me in the past, but this time I wasn't going to let it go because it could be maybe a calling from God. Yeah.
And it obviously was. You brought it home. Being the youngest in the pageant, what was the whole experience like for you?
Well, it hasn't been easy. It was a good learning journey. I had to look up at, well, contestants who were maybe more experienced in what they were doing. They were already in modeling maybe, or they've been working with such charities to, like, you know, their wealth of experience. Yeah.
So who has been your backbone, helped you through this journey?
I would say it was my mother, and she's always been there for me in whatever crazy things I would like to do in my life, and it's always God, as well.
So when the crown is off, who is Leoshina?
Oh, Leoshina. Well, when the crown is off, I'm normally at home looking after my brothers. I have 3 brothers at home. I'm the only girl, and I'm normally reading, or I have followers that are inspired and I want to keep contact with them. So normally it's like half of my life is lived on social media because I have to communicate with them. You can't represent something and not talk to the people and support the people who are always there for you.
Being the Queen of the Pacific, what are your plans to empower women?
My plans, they come in the form of the Miss Pacific Islands pageants, the platform on education, that's empowering women through education. We believe through this platform of education that education is really the key to helping our females achieve their academic, like their dreams and their aspirations in life. Yeah.
Of course. How has becoming Miss Pacific Islands affected your life?
Well, I have a lot to say about that. My life has been hectic, yes, since the crowning. My journey actually started from the Medang crowning.
Apart from being an amazing role model, not only here in Papua New Guinea but in the Pacific, what are some of your talents?
My talents.
Do you have any other talents?
My talents. Well, wow, this would be like self-promoting. I actually began singing from grade 3. I would thank Mr. Tao for developing that, and Mr. Yaman from Elamari. I could maybe sing a demo from Beyonce since I love her so much. This was from my talent in the Kingdom of Tonga. Baby, seems like everywhere I go I see you.
Okay, so where do you get your fashion sense?
Okay.
Who styles you? Do you have a stylist?
I actually have a range of different designers who have contributed to my wardrobe. I have Miriam Exgenjik, Siaguru Exgenjik. I have One Talk Clothing, which is by Genevieve Vigara, and I like to also go on Pinterest and see some of these dresses that could maybe fit my body type. As I think many of you would know, I like the mermaid tail. Yeah. Or maybe even Beyonce's fashion sense as well. Yeah.
Of course. Where do you see yourself post Miss Pacific Islands, 5 or 10 years down the line?
I want to become an entrepreneur, and I do have some land, so I'd like to develop that, because working with TPA, thank you to TPA for making me their cultural ambassador. I've really learned a lot about how much tourism can develop our country, and I see that after the crisis in Bougainville, there is a lot that can be done with our land.
Do you have any advice you'd like to give to young women across the Pacific, maybe even across the world?
Okay. I would tell them to grab opportunities when they come their way, to be confident, speak confidently, be yourself, and stick to the simple things in life, and be appreciative of where you've come from, because when you do, that will help you to remain truthful to who you are when you grow and when you go up those levels. As well, God gives you opportunities for a reason, but He gives it to you so that once you're up there, you don't forget Him. Once you forget Him when you're up there, see yourself tumbling down. Yeah, that's my advice for young women.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Leoshina.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed being on the show.
Wow, amazing young lady, and big congratulations from all of us here at Good Morning PNG. Good work, Alex.
Thank you, and hopefully we can bring the crown back this year.
You should have backed her up when she was singing. No?
I was, didn't you hear me?
That was hickey.
More to do with local entertainment. Vocal Fusion's Season 3 winner, hailing from Moraba Province, Tahila Benoba has recorded 5 songs under the Panakatsu Productions with Toxic Man, Emmanuel Muganawa. The first song, titled From This Day On, which was written by the artist herself for her older brother, who is yet to get married and will be expecting the release of the other 4 throughout the year. Showing at the Paradise Cinemas, Marvel fans, Captain Marvel will be premiering this coming Wednesday, which is the 6th of March, and it's also going to be, and coming up in the next month, is The New Avengers. Now, this one premiered on Valentine's Day this year and is still showing What Men Want proves a gender swap remake can work, and the odds are substantially improved with Taraji P. Henson in the lead. Hitting social media by storm is Khalid's latest release, Denim Jacket, and you can catch that on Elite Music Zone on Thursday or on his Facebook page. For all Palm residents, the city markets are on today at the Sir John Guy Stadium. Items range from arts and crafts to good food and clothing. I'm sure most of you have seen this across social media. Giovanna Raghunathan was diagnosed with type TB earlier this year, and there will be a medical fundraiser for her tomorrow at the Palm Records Club, which is right next to Palm Grammar, and it starts at 8 a.m. and it's just Tukina entry fee. And that's all with entertainment.
Thanks, Ikes.
Too much entertainment happening.
What? There's never, you can never have enough entertainment. Awesome. All right, we're going to go for a break now. Good work, Ikes. When we come back, more of Good Morning PNG. Don't go anywhere.
Anyway, don't go. Welcome back. Now, Shaz, it's only the first show, but we have our first guest already.
Yay.
And it's Brian Bell's very own Leon Gawi. You see him on House and Home every Tuesday nights, but today he stepped up. He's on Good Morning PNG to talk about something exciting from the Brian Bell Group.
Yeah, it's Brian Bell's product grab time, and to tell us more, good morning, Leon.
Good morning, guys.
How are you? Since we're all asking, like, what time we got up this morning, what time did you get up this morning?
I woke up at 4 o'clock. I'm happy to be awake and happy to be here. I could be elsewhere training with my rugby boys, but I had to work.
Mr. McKellar is watching this, so he's working. Saturday morning. He's in his uniform. He's from there straight to work.
Right, over to you.
Yeah, look, Brian Bell, #1 guest on the show, #1 retailer in PNG. We're happy to be here. And as you know, in PNG, Brian Bell has a wide range of products, but also it's important to understand that Brian Bell has a lot of different entities in it. So it's more than just your household products. We've got, chemicals. We've got trade electrical that has all your trade electrical needs. The power center, if you need a generator, we in PNG we have blackouts on, especially in the rural areas.
Not if you need. Not if you need.
Yeah.
You need a generator.
Yeah, that's right, man. Talk about in the rural areas, man. Agriculture. If you need a tractor, come see Brian Bell Agriculture. Kubota's the name, and Brian Bell's where you can find it.
Apart from the home centers and all the ranges you mentioned, the Sir Brian Bell Foundation does some great work behind the scenes.
They do. They do some great work with the St. John's Ambulance and Green Angels, I think. That's the name of the show that's running on MTV.
It's on tonight?
Yeah, it's on tonight. So
right, yes.
Yes.
Right.
They do a great job, and the reaction time for emergency situations in PNG, it's something that we need to address. There's a lot of things that can be done. So it's just one thing that the Sir Brian Bell Foundation's gone into. Book Belong Pikinini, working very closely with all the education institutions, and that's their main priorities are healthcare and education, Sir Brian Bell Foundation. So
absolutely, it's burning in my ear. 9:30 tonight, you can watch that, Green Angels. So be watching tonight. Apart from the foundation, you've got the home centers, you've got a wide variety of brands happening. You're going to be showing some demos throughout the year.
Yes, I will. And since it's a breakfast show, what better way to, show some of the products that can make you breakfast or even dinner? Or, PNG, we have a good food culture.
So he's making us breakfast like for the whole year.
Starting next week.
Not the whole year. I might show some pillows next time.
We like that, Leon. We love that.
Current promotions running, double discount. That's still happening?
Yeah. Well, if you're up and watching, get into Brian Bell today and, check it out. Because 30% off everything. Show your #1 Super or NAS Fund ID and you get 30%. It's massive on all products.
Double discount. So this is the final weekend?
Yeah, final weekend. Today and tomorrow only.
And it's on nationwide, yeah?
Nationwide.
Great.
There you go, Shaz. You can get that sewing machine you've been so wanting to get.
Why do you keep telling me about things I don't even know, like that I can do myself? But no, I need a new TV, so.
Yeah. That's right. The rugby season's coming.
Yeah, you know it. We both support the Brisbane Broncos, so there we go.
It's us.
Right.
Leon, thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. We'll be seeing you every fortnight for the Brian Bell Product Grab. Now, if you have something you would like to share about the show or comment on one of our stories this morning, please feel free to via our social pages
Yeah, that's right, Taz. You can go to our Facebook page, Good Morning PNG, and post your comments there. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. We've had a lot of comments and well wishes even before we went to air, so we'd like to thank you all. This is the first breakfast television show in PNG, and your comments and views are most welcome. Speaking of which, Ches, we've had too many comments actually on a possible lookalike for me. One that stood out. By one of our viewers, they reckon I look like this guy, who was a guest on a Dr. Phil show. There's two problems here. When you get on Dr. Phil, you've got issues. And secondly, this was on some affair. Wait, but it's quite weird, like when you watch something, right? Or a movie, right? And then look at that. There are things like, oh, he looks like that guy. Hang on, let's see. Not even close. No, hang on. I think the years, yeah, 100%, right, Ikea? Yeah, definitely. The years, and there we go. There we go. There. Yeah. Okay. Right. So if you have a family member that looks like a famous person, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to show it on the show. And that is the operative statement: a famous person, and not just some random guest on a TV show. Rightio. This is Good Morning PNG on EMTV. We're back right after this with the news headlines. Sorong Samurai, Sorong Samurai, one people, one soul, one destiny, Sorong Samurai. Welcome back. We go straight to the news headlines. Here's Mary Batula.
Thanks, Des. Morning, everyone. Again, the Joint Supervisory Body has resolved to postpone the target date of referendum on Bougainville to October this year. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and Autonomous Bougainville Government Chief John Mommis made this known following a meeting of both governments in Port Moresby this week. Initially, the target date had been set for June the 15th, but upon the recommendation of the Bougainville Referendum Commission, chaired by Ireland's former Prime Minister Betty Ahern, both governments have agreed to move the target date by 3 months to now October the 12th, 2019. Moving on, police officers investigating the alleged production of illegal cigarettes by a Chinese-owned company in Port Moresby have withdrawn their case. On Thursday, the Waigani District Court ordered that the case against Golden Burr Limited be withdrawn after police made submissions to remove the matter. This case had involved the alleged manufacturing and repacking of American brand cigarettes Marlboro at a warehouse at Kennedy Estate here in Port Moresby. To the Highlands region now, Oil Search Foundation is contributing up to 3 million kina to help fund the redevelopment of the Kariha District Hospital in Hela. The announcement was made by OSF Chairman and Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten recently. The redevelopment hopes to provide health care and treatment for birth complications and serious infections and provide effective treatment for other curable diseases. An X-ray and surgery machine are expected to arrive mid-March, including a new pathology lab donated by the people of Australia. And National Planning Minister Richard Maru held bilateral meetings with the European Commissioner for International Cooperation and Development in Samoa this week. The bilateral discussions were basically to take forward critical matters needed to progress cooperation between both the European Union and PNG. Both Minister Maru and the European Commissioner welcomed the need to build a business relationship between PNG and the European Commission. So those are the news headlines at 6:30 a.m. Back to you.
So, remember the other news, the court-ordered police withdrawal of the case with the cigarette company?
It's a funny matter, yeah. The 17 Chinese were initially deported by the Immigration Citizenship Authority, so we'll have to see what happens to the deportation order, if they can be allowed back into the country.
If I understand it correctly, charges were laid?
Charges were laid.
The court were ordered. They ordered the police, or the police just withdrew the
I think the police withdrew the case because there was a error with this initial search warrant for the property. So interesting times ahead.
Only in PNG, shows.
Only in PNG. All right, now for the sports headlines. Morning, Peter Pusau.
Thanks, Shez. Firstly, in rugby league, James Seguiero has returned to the Cronulla Sharks after agreeing to new terms on a one-year deal with the club earlier this week. The Papua New Guinea international has played for the Sharks over the last 2 years, and after struggling to attract offers in the offseason, he has decided to commit to the Sharks. Back home, Alex Wera will lead the SB Hunters in the 2019 Q Cup with Moses Meninga as his vice captain. The 28-year-old, who is the Hunters' only surviving foundation member from its 2014 debut in the Queensland Cup, is the club's fourth captain, with Israel Eliab, Noel Zemming and Azebo as the other men to have led the club. To golf, more than 150 golfers from around Papua New Guinea will compete in the inaugural McRoyal Hotel three-man Ambrose tournament, which tees off today at the Minch Golf Club in Jiwaka. The two-day tournament will see golfers from Port Moresby, Lae, Madang, and Mount Hagen and Goroka, and other centres to play off at the 18-hole course. And overseas, Super Rugby ended round 3 last night with the Hurricanes accounting for the Brumbies at home to the tune of 43 points to 13, while the Will Yenya-led Melbourne Rebels got over the Highlanders 24-19. And those are the headlines in sport. Shez.
Thanks, Peter. James Seguiaro, I mean, he was without a team, and then we all got excited that he got signed to the Sharks.
That's
now,
right.
What's happening?
Well, he was without a team for most of the offseason, and there was conjecture whether he would sign with anyone, and he eventually got back with the Sharks this week. And now it looks like he might not be with the Sharks anymore, because the Sharks have actually been fined by the NRL, and they might have to offload some players. So hopefully James survives the cut.
Yeah, that's the big news overnight, is that the Sharks were fined 1.25 million, if we can get that number out.
Hang on, what?
1.25 million AUD for a salary cap breach.
That's
and,
right.
You know,
Jeez,
they just added, Seguiaro was the last person they added to the team roster.
So obviously he'd be the first
could
person.
be the first to go.
Yeah, he could be the
Well,
first person to go.
they could go with Paul Gallen. He's been there at the club
Gallen.
forever, and I think he should do the right thing. You know, step down, let James have a few years.
Yes, we should actually do a petition. Get rid of Paul Gallen and leave James Seguiaro in the team.
Get
right?
James in there. One more year. Gallen can go fight Sonny Bill Williams.
Thanks, Peter. Okay, now for a brief look at the weather. Morning again to Richard McGay.
Thank you, Shaz. Okay, let's have a I've got something in my mouth too. What's going on? Southern region weather. There'll be isolated showers forecasted throughout the region during the week, with cloudy weather in all major centres and predicted thunderstorms towards the end of the week in Port Moresby, Daru, and Popondetta. Kariha and Alata should be fine with a minimal cloud cover. Up in Mamase, the scattered showers and thunderstorms have been predicted throughout the whole week, with storms and cloudy weather forecasted for about several days from Lae all the way up to Vanimo. Up in the highlands, they'll be also experiencing some wet weather, isolated showers anticipated over there, and thunderstorms in Mendi, Wabeg, and Goroka. Mount Hagen should be mostly cloudy for the week, with early rain chances there. Up to NGI, the islands there will have scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the region. All centres will experience wet weather during the week, and afternoon thunderstorms are expected in Lorengau, Rabaul, Kavieng, Kimbe, and of course the autonomous region of Bougainville. That's all I've got. Back to you, Taz.
This weather is not one-sided at all. All he talks about is Millen Bay.
I'll leave him alone.
Thanks, Rich. Now, Shaz, one of the industries in our country that really struggles in terms of financial benefits is our music industry. I mean, you see it firsthand in your day job at the radio station.
Yeah, Taz, it's a really difficult industry to be in, especially, you know, gigs are hard to come by, royalties near non-existent, and artists have it really tough. Some get lucky and break out overseas in the hope to share their music and gain some exposure. Yeah,
there is light at the end of the tunnel, and one such artist is Airileke Ingram, both a musician and a producer. Airi is born to a Papua New Guinean mother from Central Province, Gaba Gaba, in fact, and an Australian father. He has managed to travel the world and make a name for himself in promoting our traditional music, and shares a massive passion for West Papua in his fight for freedom. Shaz, you caught up with him during the week via phone.
You know, my earliest music was learning Gaba, you know, the traditional sing from Gaba Gaba. Gaba means kundu, so when I was growing up, like in the late 70s, early 80s, that was my first music, I think, learning our traditional Motu Mawaru and all the traditional songs and Gaba from Gaba Gaba. And then I got into learning sort of contemporary music or Western music, piano and keyboards very young, when I was about 3 years old. And then I sort of went into learning drumming and percussion. So I learned drum kit in primary school, and then it wasn't until I was about 18 I started learning garamut from the Kilangit family from Baluan. And so I've been playing garamut now for about 20 years. Through Palawai Suksuk and Baluan, I learned a lot about that. And then also I was really my mentor growing up was Tony Subam, the late Tony Soro Subam from Sanguma band. And he was really the one that inspired me and sort of mentored me from when I was probably about 18 up until when he passed away. And then from there, I just went on to, pursue music, and I was always learning both indigenous and traditional music and also Western music. So eventually I became a producer, and I got into making records, making beats. I got right into hip-hop production, and I was right into creating dancehall, dub, reggae, hip-hop, and I was really inspired by some of the MPC-based hip-hop that was especially coming out of places like Detroit, even in Melbourne.
Great. Okay. Your collaborations, I know there's like a really long list, but maybe a few highlights?
Yeah, some of the highlights, I guess, of people I've collaborated with. There's many, but within Papua New Guinea, some of my favorite collaborations have been with traditional artists, like Palawai Suksuk. The Manus beats and collaborating with Kilangit family is really one of the ones that's closest to me. Makam Galut from Morabe, we've collaborated for, nearly my whole life, 30 years or so. And then internationally, I guess, when I worked with Andrew Lockington on the Hollywood movie Journey to Mysterious Island, that was quite an experience. That was my first time to work in Hollywood and have our music or some of my original music performed and sort of traditional music interpreted by the London Symphony Orchestra and recorded at Abbey Road, where the Beatles recorded, and a composer like Andrew from Hollywood putting that all together for the score for that movie was, it was quite an experience, to go from the House Kambaran in Chambri in Sipik all the way to, Hollywood was, it kind of made it feel like the world is such a small place.
Well, you have 2 record labels. Just give us a rundown of what are they called, and also your last 2 releases, Sorong Samurai and Full Freedom, just a background on them and the inspirations behind them.
Well, in 2006, I sort of co-founded One Talk Music Foundation with David Brady and some other artists in Melbourne. And on that record label, we sort of started off with George Telek and Richard Mobu, some Aboriginal artists like Frank Yama. And I worked with One Talk for about 8 years, and then I moved on and set up Makoda, my own company. And I also started Rise of the Morning Star as a record label back in 2012. So we've been sort of recording West Papuan and Papua New Guinean artists and releasing compilations specifically for West Papua. And one of the tracks that Rise of the Morning Star released was Sorong Samurai. And Sorong Samurai was a track I wrote around 2012, and I didn't release it until last year, or 2017. And that's really, Sorong Samurai is really about our island, West Papua and Papua New Guinea. We are one island, from Sorong to Samurai, one people. And I just felt I had to put this into song. And I met with Benny Wenda, who's the leader of West Papua, and we co-wrote this song together. And I collaborated with Twin Tribe, Redley and Baine from Twin Tribe. They're on the vocals, lead vocals. And the song is really, it probably speaks for itself in the lyrics, but it's really about we are one people. So our futures are bound together, West Papua and Papua New Guinea. we will always be connected to each other. And I think through music, that was one of the things that really woke me up to the situation, was really understanding that musically, culturally, we are one people. So just on a purely musical level, it's amazing what's happening there, you know. So I'm hoping through Rise of the Morning Star, we will start to hear a lot more from West Papua and collaborate as well. The other track I put together, Full Freedom, it was inspired by West Papua as well, because full freedom is what we seek, you know. We can't settle for half freedom. We can't settle for just a little bit of freedom. It's either full freedom or it's nothing. And so the track Full Freedom really speaks about our island. We, as Papua New Guineans, we believe we are free, but in fact only half of us are free. And so I wrote this track, and at the time I was really into krump music. I love krump, the dance form. I love the energy, you know, I love the sort of aggression. And I put this band together called Gorilla Step with some krumpers. And I ended up collaborating with some of the guys, the founders of krump over in Los Angeles, Side Eyes and Street Kingdom. And when I put this track out, they offered to dance on the track to show their support. And so in the film clip for the track is the original Krumpus, and they did the film clip over in Los Angeles. And a friend of mine, Jewel, who works on the Free West Papua campaign, she sort of directed the film clip over there. And Tight Eyes, the founder of Krump, sort of he worked with us, and his words are what the lyrics in the song come from Tight Eyes.
Okay, and finally, what's next for you, Irie?
Right now, I'm working on a feature movie. It's sort of my first role as a movie producer. It's a movie called Jungle of Ghosts, directed by Charlie Hill-Smith, an Australian director. And yeah, I think this is going to be, it's an action thriller in Tok Pisin and Bahasa in English. So this is really exciting, sort of new area I'm getting into is, movies. I think it's going to be an exciting way to sort of tell the story of PNG and West Papua. And now then another production I'm working on in Melbourne, big Pacific Island concert at the Sydney Mine Music Bowl. So that will be sort of a big concert. Hopefully we'll get some of our Papua New Guineans artists down for that one.
Shazza, excellent work.
Thanks, man.
And that Sorong Samurai song, Sorong to Samurai, you can watch that on Elite
Sorong
Music Zone.
Samurai.
Sorong Samurai.
To Samurai.
Okay.
Sorong Samurai.
You can watch that on Elite Music Zone this Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Stay with us on the other side. We're back with the Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer, the Honourable Charles Abel. You're watching Good Morning PNG.
It's more about the interests of our people, and health and fitness is an important aspect of that.
Welcome back. Well, politicians and fitness aren't two things you usually put together, but there are a few members of our parliament that exercise. NCD Governor Paus Pakop is one that comes to mind, and Oro Governor Gary Jufa is another. But Taz, you caught up with a fitness machine, the Honourable Charles Abel.
Yes, Shaz, this guy is very fit. Our Deputy Prime Minister exercises every day, whether it's cardio work or weights or a game of basketball. He is active. His doctor even told him to slow down, Shaz. You don't hear that often.
No.
But before we get to the interview, we want to thank the Deputy Prime Minister for giving us access to his private life. Much appreciated. We always see our politicians in suits and formal gatherings. So this was something different, all in the name of health and fitness. And that was the main reason Deputy Prime Minister agreed to the interview, was to encourage our people the importance of looking after themselves physically through regular exercise and a good diet. He's not one to talk about himself, so this was an exclusive in such an informal setting. And again, we thank the DPM for the access.
All right, I got a question though.
Yes, Chas,
so
fire away.
you went along. How did you go in the gym?
Originally, I was meant to just go along and watch, to observe. But then, you know, when the Deputy Prime Minister says, mate, come on the treadmill, don't really have a choice.
I heard you halved all your exercises, like he was like full on and you were just like 150 or
It
like...
went for 2 hours. I participated for the first 15 minutes.
Okay, well, let's have a look.
Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer, thank you so much for your time this morning. How important is health and fitness in today's society?
Tasman, thank you, and thank you to you and the boys for joining me this morning at 6:30. Sorry to get you up so early. And at the end of the day, I don't want it to be about me necessarily, as we discussed. It's more about the interests of our people, and health and fitness is an important aspect of that. But this is a normal part of my routine and lifestyle. I've sort of trained more or less all my life, following the example of my father, especially in this day and age, when you see the effects of modern society, modern lifestyle, modern diet, that we remain conscious of some of the potential side effects that you see manifesting with some of our people as they get into their middle ages especially. And so a lot is said about lifestyle diseases, and a very important aspect is just maintaining some sort of regular physical activity. It doesn't have to be strenuous squats and things like that. And, you know, the obvious thing is just walking, because walking is so accessible and you know, it's easy. You can just go outside the house, hopefully, and do a few laps around the block, or walk up Paga Hill, or like us in Alotau, up the top town hill. Yeah, and just start off with 10-15 minutes and 3 times a week, and then you sort of work your way up until you can start running, depending on your comfort zone. But even running is not necessary. It's just basically getting your heart rate up, probably double what it normally, if you've got a heart rate of 60 or 70, you just want to get it up to around 100 and just maintain it for 10 or 15 minutes. That alone is working your cardiovascular system and that aerobic workout in your lungs and so on, getting the blood circulating. It makes a big difference at the end of the day.
You mentioned about basketball a while ago. National championships last year with your home team. How did that feel, representing Lytton Bay?
That was good fun, you know. Just to, especially to get the competition organised at home, and then to bring our young ones in. And I was really proud of especially the girls, because the girls won the national championship. And then to get selected, some of them got selected into the national team. In terms of the under-15s championships we're talking about, of course. I won the national under-15 championships, came participate in and of course we, the open team in the men's and women's championship, bringing the Alotau boys in was great fun. Having to play a few minutes on the court too was just a bonus.
You talk about the apple in the tree, your children in sports, their sporting achievements as well. You must be a proud father.
Yes, of course. Coco, Courtney's, who's at UPNG, she's in or she was in the Pepe's team. They're going through the trials at the moment because she stopped for a few years. So she's a very sporting person. She also trains in the mornings. And Jordan played basketball with the under-15 national team.
He's taller than you.
He's taller than me, and he's going to be a big boy. He's a good kid. Plays rugby league, rugby union, basketball, and he wants to try out for the Kumul under-16s. So we'll see how.
Sure. Yeah. With the pedigree, I'm sure he'll go a long way.
We'll see how he goes. Yeah.
In terms of your career, what makes Charles Abel tick? What motivates you or inspires you?
I got a family legacy. I've got a family legacy that was started by my great-grandfather, and it's carried on through my grandfather and my father. So I feel a sense of obligation because of that to the country. But then, regardless of that, I know that our country needs good, energetic, honest, hardworking leaders at all levels, from the top right the way down through, to overcome the challenges that we have and to realize the opportunities. Because this country is so blessed. It just needs good, honest, hardworking, dedicated, focused leadership, you know, and just making the right decisions strategically for this country can make a difference in so many lives. That's partly what drives me. But I'm getting older too and realizing that, you know, there's simple things that so many things I can do better. And one of them is spending time with my family and making sure that I look after important people like my wife. They're very important people too, and they need your love and attention as well to grow. And if I can't look after my children and my wife, then how can I look after the rest of Papua New Guinea? So first things first, but otherwise that's what drives me.
I asked you before we started the interview on how much input do you have in the house, because you spoke about your wife's watching.
No, you got me. Look, you got to lead by example. So, you know, I've always been active, especially around the house, in the garden and so on. Less so now, of course. But in the house, you know, I try and do a little bit of my share, I suppose. Now that the kids are basically gone, the house is not. Okay, so it's not like little to do. You know, I made the bed the other day, and otherwise I'm not that great in the house, to be honest. Huh?
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for bringing us in to your hideout.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Welcome, and thanks for getting up so early. Tasman? Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm going back to the gym.
Wow, how good was that? And you know, Taz, there's a good message in that story. No matter how busy you are, you think you are, it's very important to make some time.
It's all about perception, both work and exercise.
Yeah. Do you exercise apart from that? Were you going back to the gym?
You saw me go back in.
Did you?
Yeah, for second round.
You could have just gone and turned around.
I went back to pick up my dignity. That's
Taz,
basically what happened there.
The DPM also mentioned about, you know, family legacy, a very proud tradition. His father is a knight, if you didn't know, Sir Christopher Abel, and his grandfather's older brother is also a knight, Sir Cecil Abel, who is the father to Andrew Abel, the surfing guy.
Yes, the surfing dude. That's, but yeah. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, we'll talk more on Good Morning PNG.
Welcome back. We are on the home stretch and it's time for a panel discussion team. This morning we will be discussing e-books versus the old school hardcover and which one you prefer. But before that, Taz, when was the last time you read a book and what was it? The
Appeal by John Grisham. It's a legal thriller and I read that at the back end of last year. Yourself?
Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. It's well, this book came out in 2015. I actually got given this book by my nephew like 3 years ago, and it's been done into a movie, right? Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. But I actually watched the movie before I read the book. I don't usually do that. Yeah.
It's a big no-no in Shaz's life.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really big no-no. Merba?
Switch it up.
I'm not allowed to say the title on air, so this is what I read. It's by Mark Manson. It's a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. The subtle art of not giving a hoot.
Rightio.
And a bright orange cover to go with that. Peter, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm reading a book called 1876. It was written by Gore Vidal, and it's about American history, political history. So something I find interesting, especially nowadays.
Did you say you're still reading it though?
Yeah, I read it, one page every 3 or 4 days.
Since 1876.
Oh, geez, look, the cover's showing up already.
Yeah, it's...
I've been reading that since 1876.
Yeah, I don't look too bad for a guy that old.
Very well. Benjamin Button, welcome to the show.
Definitely very different from Maribel's. Rich, how about you?
I am reading a book called The Girl in the Spider's Web by an author called David Lagerkrantz. It's pretty sweet, yeah.
Right.
That one's got
Any
a
questions?
What, the book or the reading?
Everything. It's great. It's a really good read. Apparently there's a movie out.
Okay.
Yeah, but unlike Shaz, I read the books first.
Hey, that was a one-time. Don't call me out on that. Don't hold that against me, please.
Interesting book. And Ikea, when was the last time you read a book and what was it?
I read a book back in 2015, and it was Bad Sisters by Lauren Henderson, and it's on my phone. I apologize if you can see it.
And that movie, that book is basically
The book is basically about 3 sisters. It's a contemporary romance novel.
Mm-hmm.
And these ladies try to make it without men, I hear.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So obviously fiction.
Oh,
fictitious
stop
novel.
it. Stop it. Look at them getting there.
Obviously a book of
Just
pure
stop it,
fantasy.
okay? Your book is good.
You know, ever since the introduction of e-books nearly half a century ago, 1971 to be exact, the sales for hardcover has dropped, and understandably so. E-books have had the lion's share of the profits, mainly because of its convenience and portability.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the hardcover myself. Like I said, you can smack people with this. Still a whole tool, I guess.
That's why he's
And
still
the
reading
fact that
hardcover.
I'm not dictated to whether my iPad is charged or not. I can still read it. And whenever I want, for as long as I want. Shaz?
Yeah.
You?
Well, I like both. Not really bothered as long as, the books are good.
Yep.
Yeah. Ikes?
Whatever's convenient, really. That's why I don't mind ebooks.
That's a key word. Convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie?
I'm a paperback and hardcover man. Just because I can't read stuff off tablets, my eyes are short. So, yeah.
You need glasses.
I actually had glasses
You had
once.
glasses.
Yeah.
But those Friday nights don't help. when you have
No. Get another pair.
You gotta have your Friday night pair. They're called sunglasses.
Once
at
a
night.
Friday night. That's my story of my life, that book.
Pete?
Yeah, I go
Well, your cover's fallen
either
off
one,
for starters.
Yeah.
Really, I don't really mind. I can read either one. So, e-books, softcover, hardcover. I'm
Maribel?
good.
Hardcover.
Wow, he didn't ever have to think about that.
No hesitation.
Hardcover.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Hardcover.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the boys, hardcover, and the ladies, we don't really care. So
That's in general.
we want you to tell us what. Hey, come on. It's too early to be taking jabs at us. All right, so tell us what you think, ebooks or hardcover, and why. You can tweet us or hit us up on our Facebook page. I know some people that still have boxes of books, like myself, and shelves of books, like our executive producer, Taz.
And you know what, Shaz? She's still reading more books. She should start selling the old ones.
She's an amazing
She's
woman.
got truckloads.
Yeah. You go, Pat. I think we've got a picture, right? Yeah. So that's what her collection
Show me
looks
the real
like.
picture. That's the real
There we
picture.
go. There we go.
It's a little operation happening at the back of the Popeye household.
Good on you, Pat. Listen, that's it, right? For the first ever edition of Good Morning PNG. We've had a blast, haven't we, guys?
Sure have.
Yeah?
Yep.
And we hope you have too.
Yep, join us again next week. We've got another huge show coming up, Rise and Shine with the NCD Governor. Gee, this guy wakes up too early. Honourable Paz Pakop, there he is. He's looking lively. If you get a shot of me, I have no interest in being there at that time of the morning. He kickstarts his Sunday morning walks again. Ikea gets an insight, speaking of Pakops, she gets an insight into the world of PNG fashion industry through the creative designer's eyes of Sebastian Sambasivam. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll check out what's happening, trending on social media. And should mobile phones be banned from schools?
Ooh, all right.
The big topic next week.
That's all coming up next Saturday. Thanks for being with us, guys. Have a safe weekend.
What are you getting up to?
I'm going back to work.
I thought going back to sleep.
No, I'm going back to work.
You're obviously going back to sleep?
No, I'm going back to work. I have an interview.
Look at you guys.
today. Yeah.
Look at you guys. Taking a leaf out of Leon Gawi's book.
Yeah.
Went straight to work. He's came in his uniform.
Stay safe this weekend, and we'll catch you again next Saturday, bright and early at 6 a.m. Pete, be all awake at 2:30. Yeah. From all of us
Okay,
here,
be awake.
have a good weekend.
See you guys.